Guys, if you want to trade your cryptocurrency and you're looking for a brand to choose, a brand that will credit you immediately after you trade with them without any hassle or any problem with your transaction with them, reach out to zippo.ng. That is their WhatsApp number on the screen. Welcome everybody. This is the Backdrop podcast brought to you by GPN Studio. And as you all know, where we talk about politics, entertainment, lifestyle, and everything happening in the industry and all around the world at large. Do you get? So today we are going to dive into another topic, something that is affecting the country, the situation of Nigeria currently, which is insecurity. So, my name is Yusuf, and you already know the only star boy of GPN, and I have with me in the house today, Mr. Avex.
My name is Abraham Daniel Offer. I am the JPN PRO, Public Relations Officer, and it is an honor to be here with you this beautiful day. With me in the studio, I have two wonderful people that are men of distinct eminence. Um, Close to me is the chairman of the Kwara Initiative, in person of Mr. Tunde Anjorin.
Good to
And
be on here.
And again with me is a public affairs analyst and a political strategist in person of Mr. Sukami Toby John. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine. I actually wish we are here to talk about something different, but it is what it is, and it is with a heavy heart that I have to like draw attention to things that have been bothering me. Bandits. Let's talk about bandits. Bandits, these are a group of people that survive criminal activities. Talk about kidnapping, rape,
Armed robbery.
armed robbery, and all that.
Yeah.
And it is so funny that so funny and amazing that a country with so much gold and mineral resources having a lot to do with these people. Don't get me wrong, getting battled by these people called the bandits. I don't know how we get here. And I wake up every day with a heavy heart, wondering what is really happening. What could be the cause? What is the status this very day? And what is the government doing about it? And what can we actually do to stop this thing? I'm actually worried. Recently, we heard about students being kidnapped in their school. There's this general news that it's a public school, but I'll tell you for a fact that it can actually happen in a private school. And February, there's this local government, Kayama local government in Kwara that got attacked. I can't actually place the number of people that got killed and kidnapped, but I'd like to tell you that I've been able to get across to the KB of Woro, and that is Woro in Kayama local government of Kwara State, and he will be shedding more light about what happened, and from that we can actually start discussing about what the cause is and the possible solution that we feel. We are not perfect, but I believe whatever it is we discuss, we get out there, the government can actually learn from it and pick from it. I'd like to place the call now, if you don't mind, so we can start from there. If it's fine by you, or if Mr. Sukami has something to say before.
Well, I think you raised some issues which should be better addressed before we even bring in the monarchy.
Okay, that would be nice.
How banditry started in Nigeria is that question that would actually want us to first of all address. Yes, exactly. Banditry in Nigeria. Well, we can't pick, or should I say, pin a specific date to it. But if there's anything, I think we started hearing about their upsurge within, or let me say, around 2016 or thereabout. That is when, the upsurge, we started. We've been hearing, virtually every nooks and crannies of this country, has its own social menace.
Okay.
I'm talking about in forms of criminal gangs and the likes. Yes, that's what these boys were before they became what we now know as bandits. But the major problem, which I think, this is my personal opinion, serve as an incentive to the rise of banditry, is actually the docile attitude of the government of the day. I'm talking about the government of the day during that period.
Okay.
And who am I talking about? I'm talking about no one than President Muhammadu Buhari. Yes, I can say this for a fact. He's a man of good intention, but most times intentions don't govern a country. Action is what puts a country aright.
Yeah.
So yes, he's a man of good intention, but he mismanaged the issue of banditry. I'm not talking about, we've not even spoken about terrorism. We're talking about banditry here.
Banditry, okay.
Yes, because at the time, these boys were operating as ragtag, just criminal elements within the Northwest, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kaduna. You understand what I'm saying? Axis. They became a force to reckon with around 2017, when the arms and ammunition that the criminal elements, the decimated criminal elements in the Northeast, Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa area, were using. So by the time the ammunition started infiltrating, or should I say, by the time the military was able to curtail the activity of the terrorist non-state actors in the Northeast, they started migrating, southward, which is to the west.
Okay.
So when they went to the west, I think they were reaching out to some of these criminal gangs. You understand what I'm saying? So the collaboration between the two is what has become the full-blown terrorism that we have today, which is known as banditry. You understand me? But the government of the day at the time, if the government had stood its ground, if the government had moved in as at the time, at the inception, to nib it at the board, I doubt if we would have what we have today as banditry. It's been alleged in some quarters that the government of that time, maybe as a result of its affiliation, or let me say because of its own origin as a Fulani man, it was reluctant to designate those bandits a terrorist organization. So by so doing, it limited the capacity of the Nigerian military to launch a full-scale military assault on them, to make use of some of these sophisticated weapons we acquired to prosecute the war at the time. You understand me? So that reluctance curtail the capacity of the Nigerian military.
What do you think would be the cause of him being reluctant?
Like I said, there are some people who believe. I wouldn't want to call it nepotism.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to call it nepotism because I think that word has been so abused in Nigeria. But I would say to a very large extent, if we are to listen to the words on the street, we would say that it was because of his affiliation, or because of his ethnic stock. You understand what I'm saying? So I will refrain from the word nepotism. So yes, he was if he had moved in, and or let's say if they had been designated as a terrorist group as swiftly as IPOB was designated, I tell you, the Nigerian military would have been able to go all out. But at the inception, the leaders in the north were still believing these are boys we can dialogue with. You understand what I'm saying? They felt, no, they still looked at them as the same young boys that we used to know, who were susceptible to social disturbance and all of those. They never knew that those boys at the time, had started receiving financing, even training from the terrorist group in the Northeast. So that is how we've dropped the ball, and that's where we dropped the ball. If the government at the time had gone in, designate them as a terrorist organization, and with the Nigerian military swinging in on them, I believe they wouldn't have been decimated by now. They possibly would have been obliterated, because at the time they lacked the requisite military capacity to actually withstand our military. You understand? At the time, but now they are even more. There are allegations that they are now more sophisticated than the Nigerian military. Because we've had instances of them attacking military bases, and what they do, according to some of the stories I gather from some of my friends in the military, they don't just attack. What they do is that before they attack, they notify the military. They could start shooting from like 10 kilometers away or 5 kilometers away. You understand what I'm saying? To notify the military that they are coming. Now, the Nigerian military, you know how the operation under the operational restriction within which they operate.
Okay.
The guns they use, the bullets in the guns are accounted for.
Of course.
You have
We know that.
12 bullets, and someone is coming with a PKT that has no bomb stock.
Yeah.
You understand? So with just a trigger,
With a magazine that is
with just a trigger.
Yeah.
They don't even use magazines any longer. I tell you, the PKT is more sophisticated. All they just need to do is to pull the trigger, and you have like 4 or 5 bullets coming at once.
Rounds.
So how do you expect the Nigerian military with such capacity to now to face this boy? So that is to just cut the long story short, because it's an extensive conversation that if I want to go into, it will take much of our time, and I doubt if the program will be enough to actually contain it. So yes,
No, you can
the-
go on, because if you want to talk about
Yeah.
sophisticated weapon, I'll tell you, are they as rich as the federal government? Are they as rich as the government? Can't we get this weapon?
you see, let me say
Can't we
this.
have drones
We,
go around? Can't we have
as we speak,
choppers going around and
as we speak,
Because I've always been hearing about this Sambisa
Yeah.
first. I'll say it's over 10 years or 11 years that I've been hearing about Sambisa first. And people are still
15,
there.
they're still there.
So
The
I
Nigerian
find it
military.
hard to believe that something is being done.
You see,
It's in this same country
you see-
that we
in the
are.
same country, if we're talking about
the Sambisa issue, don't even let
okay.
us go into the Sambisa issue,
okay,
because the Sambisa itself, do you know it's a military fortress, what's it called? Citadel, fortress for it was a military fortress for the Nigerian government. Even that, there was a time we used to have, not so far from Sambisa Forest, there's a village they call Goza in Borno State. Goza. There, that's where all the Mopos in Nigeria were trained. Do you know who dislodged them?
Ooh.
Boko Haram. They were dislodged. And you know what we mean by dislodged? Chased away. They left all of their military equipment. Mopos are well-trained police officers. They are special
Of course,
forces.
yes.
They used to be, sorry. You understand me? So imagine having such fortress alongside Sambisa, where we had a military bunker built by past military governments.
Government.
So imagine having that in the hands of non-state actors. So that is the reason why they appear to be more sophisticated than the Nigerian government. This is not to excuse the activities of internal collaborators also within the government. But if you ask me today, that within the bandits and the Nigerian government, that who is richer? Do you want me to be sincere with you?
I want to be factual.
The bandits are more richer than the Nigerian states.
I find it hard to believe.
Yes, I may not have the data. I think that's the reason why I will subscribe to your opinion that you find it hard to believe. But I can tell you this: these bandits are more richer than the Nigerian state. Do you know where they receive their funding from? They are funded even right from the Middle East. Look at the ISIS commander, second in command of ISIS. I'm trying to remember his name right now, who was killed some couple of weeks ago in Nigeria. Al-Munuki, thank you, that's his name. Do you know what it is to be the second in commander of ISIS Islamic State? The same Islamic State brought down a whole country, Iraq.
Yeah.
When you hear of Aleppo, Mosul, all of these places were reduced ruled because of the excesses of these boys we are talking about. And these are the people we are now cohabiting with in this same space. And let me tell you something. There had been earlier warnings. The moment, I think it was the fall of Aleppo, thank you. The moment Aleppo fall, which signaled the end of the ISIS rule in the Middle East. You understand me? Notice had been sent, or let me say, people had been talking about the possibility of them migrating to Africa.
Migrating to Africa.
Yes, so this is where African leaders ought to have come together at the time to stem their movement, their tide. But unfortunately, they did not, because we also were battling our own internal issues here. At the time, Libya too fell not quite long before then. I think Libya fell in 2012 or 2013. And all of the ragtag boys, or let me say criminal elements that the government of the day in Libya, Gaddafi, used in entrenching himself in leadership, became independent. They had a free roam over the country. So if something had been done at that point to stop the migration of these boys from the Middle East down to the sub-Saharan states, particularly I'm talking about this part of Africa, we won't be where we are today. But as we speak, I can say it for a fact with the international funding which these guys are getting. And do you know the amount they are getting for ransom? The boys who were kidnapped in Jangembe in Katsina State, Do you know the amount they paid? I think their release was midwifed. It was Kankara, thank you, before even Jangembe. It was Kankara. Kankara, those boys, I think according to what I learned, which I can't say from official sources, I think about 150 million naira was paid per head. And do you know the number of people that were kidnapped? So when the government says don't pay ransom, this is what the government is saying. Don't enrich. For every ransom you pay, it has a multiplying effect on the impact of what's it called. But you see, it's very difficult. You can't also blame the people because why would you have your family in
Nigerian to understand?
Thank you. So when government says this, they feel the government has surrendered. No, what the government is just trying to do is not just to save face, but to put militating mechanism in place to forestall the spread of this terrorist organization. That's it. One of the ways to combat terrorism is by cutting the fund.
Because to add to what you said, I heard that the kidnappers of the this recent one that happened,
yes, they made of course.
They asked for ammunition, money.
And they also want the state government to implement Islamic, what do they call it again? Sharia law.
Sharia law. So it's actually a tough decision for the governor or whoever it is to, it's not something that is easy to just do. Before we go on, I would like to go back on something you said, but I would like to give you an exposition. I would like us to call the KB of Woro.
I think what you've just said now, I'm talking. It's also what should I say? Let me just come in. For the fact that you mentioned Woro now, I think I just have to quickly create a background. You remember what happened in Woro, the kidnapping that happened in Woro? Yeah. We went there, we experienced it. We went there. It wasn't as though we were told the story. We went there to speak with the people.
Okay.
You get me, right? We went there and we saw what happened. How these boys, what's it called? Mastered landmines. Mastered landmines.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? In order to access the community, making it difficult for the media. Yes. Even we learned that the first bus that came in exploded, and I think we met the ashes on the floor.
Wow.
Yes, that was after they receded. So I believe this is just to create a background for what I believe, because it seems, as I speak to you, I'm anticipating what the monarch will say, because I think on that day when we went there, we didn't meet him. He was on his way out of the community.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't meet him. He was on his way out of the community, but we learned from people what they experienced. Now you'll be surprised. Over 117 people, according to what we learned, who were kidnapped at the time, up to this very moment, they are yet to be released. So let me just allow you to go further so that we can have the call and continue the conversation.
Okay, please. Coming up next will be conversations. I would like you to talk to him.
Okay, all right.
Questions. I just want to just pick
from what he has said, or what he would say rather.
Yeah, if you want a brand that you can purchase your car from or sell your car to, Walexi Auto is the brand to reach out to, because they sell and buy new and used cars without any problem.
Walaikum salam. How are you doing, sir? Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Sunkomi Toby John, and we are calling you from Banditry podcast. So we just want to sample your opinion concerning what happened within your domain, your community, sir. Sir, if I may ask, I don't know if it pleases you, if you could just give us a brief introduction so that our listeners also will know who we are talking to, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes,
we are talking with Alhaji Umar, the village head of Foro.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, I remember coming to the community at the time, and I think on our way coming into the community, you were not, let me say, I think you were on your way out of the community at the time, and we saw how they've turned the community to what we can call a virtual ghost community, because people are deserted as a result of, the attacks of these bandits and criminals. So ever since the incident occurred, there's this news out there that the people who were kidnapped up to date have not been reunited with their families. Sir, this is to serve, I'm asking you this, to serve more like an advocacy of some sort, so that if nothing has been done to release them, so that this also will put the pressure on the government to do more to ensure that these people return home. That is if it is true. So I'll be putting it to you, sir. Is it true that all of the people who were kidnapped from the community are still yet to be reunited with their family?
Yes.
Sir?
Sir, the incident happened on the 3rd of February, 2026. That's the day they kidnapped about 176 children and women. And as I'm speaking with you now, they spent 4 months, 4 days today
In captivity.
in captivity. And the government did not do anything, has said anything about their release. And we are trying to see how the people will look into our side, maybe the community, to negotiate with them, which they are not ready. Because they thought if they talk with government, they may get more money than to speak with us as a community. That is what is going on now, presently.
Wow. Sir, how sure are you, sir, that these people are still alive? Has there been any contact ever since then? Because it is expected. Okay. All right. Abuchi, you have the floor, sir.
Sir? There is no any contact with them. The only thing we have been seeing, the video clip they always send through TikTok, but apart from that, nobody in the community can say exactly if they are still alive or if some of them have died. We don't know their situation as I'm speaking with you now.
That's sad enough. So, sir, I really commiserate with you people. Should I say sympathize, with you, sir, on that. And I hope that this will serve as a platform that will put an end to this whole thing and bring back or reunite the people with their families. So, sir, the last time I was in Woro, at the entrance of the community, I met, a military, what we can call a military base of some sort, located inside the primary school or the school where the attack started from, sir. So, sir, are they still there, or has the military been withdrawn? Because there are people, I spoke with one or few of my friends who told me that they are really not sure about that. So I want to be sure, because what that signals is that if the military has been withdrawn, it is assumed that the operation has been concluded. So, sir, is the military still very much within the domain? Does our people, or do our people still enjoy that protection?
Sir, yes, the military are still on ground.
No.
The mobile police are still on ground. But the disturbing part of it now is that the people that are still in the captivity, despite the trauma people are in during the attack, but the disturbing part of it now is some people cannot, even some family cannot go to farm because most of their children and their wives are still in the captivity. Some people cannot come back to the community simply because their wife and children are still in the captivity. So the most disturbing part of it now is our disturbing part of it is those people that are still in the captivity. But if those people are released today, I think our mind will come down. The trauma will also go down.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And I hope that the authorities are listening and they will do the needful in bringing back the 175 people, if I'm right, 176 people who are still in captivity today. So thank you. There
are some pregnant women.
Okay.
Yeah. There are some pregnant, according to the rumors, we are not in there, we didn't see. We don't know their condition over there. But some people are saying about 2 or 3 of them have given back there.
Wow. So
because they pass so many pregnant women, some sick women. In fact, it's very disturbing.
Yes, sir. Oh, I understand your plight, sir. Even though I may not feel the full weight of it, but at least I can imagine what it feels like to actually go through the experience, sir. So, sir, we are with you and your community on this. and I would I would use this opportunity to ensure to give you that. You said what? Okay, all right. So I'll to give you that moral support and also help you to push the cause for the release of these people. So, sir, thank you so much for your time, sir. If again, I think the first time when you introduced yourself, it wasn't clear enough at the time. I would want us so that our listeners will know that what we are doing here is not as though maybe we are cooking up any story, but for them to know that we actually spoke with the traditional ruler of the community in Wuru. So please, sir, can you just help us with your introduction once again, sir?
You are speaking with Alhaji Umar Biosani, the chief of Woro, where the incident happened.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the program, sir. Thank you, sir. Do have a splendid day, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, we all can see what we've been talking about the activities of these bandits. But I think at this point, I wouldn't want to. I don't know if what's it called? Our moderators actually have a lot to say concerning this because for me, having to learning that 176 people kidnapped in war.
There's no way to communicate with them.
Wait, I think I still.
What breaks my heart is the fact that the chief said by their calculation, they are very sure
two free pregnant women, according to what he said. Yes.
They don't have medical attention. The environment, we all see how it is on the screen. The sun, the rain, and everything. There's no shelter, no proper shelter, and all that. And these people are asking for a huge amount of money. I really don't know what to say. Trying to bring tears to my eyes, but I just know it is what it is.
You see, one part that eluded me in the course of our conversation with the traditional ruler was the issue of ransom payment. At a point, I share this relationship with our people in Woro. So I take my time to ask some questions from my friends who are from the community. I spoke with someone at a point who told me they were mobilizing to pay the bandit a certain amount of money to effect the release. I can't really tell. That the conversation we just had would have been a perfect platform to reveal to know if they actually pay the ransom or not, because we've heard of instances where bandits collect ransom and after collecting the ransom, the people still remain in captivity. So I think I lost that opportunity, which I would also love to apologize to our viewers for not bringing that to us. But I think maybe in a subsequent episode I'll try as much as possible to converse with him pertaining to that, someone else will be the one to bring it on this show. You understand me? But it's something I would love to drill down to. So thank you so much. I think you can pick it up from there.
That will be fine. And Mr. Tunyanjoy, you are from the Kwara initiative, and I know you've heard a lot of things about this whole banditry thing, and from the part where you are from, I think from the Ekiti local government state, we've had situations over there too. What is really happening, and what is your view on the whole situation?
To be sincere, it's so sad we are in this kind of mess. So sad Kwara State is in this kind of seeming condition. I was just looking at my brother here, speaking figures and all about this whole issue. To be sincere, I'm overwhelmed. From the area where I came from, Ekiti local government area, I have so many untold stories that has never reached any media platform. Stories of where our Fulanis are, dislocated from their base. They've been living with us. For example, I know someone that happens to be a friend of my grandfather. He's a Fulani.
The Fulani man.
Yes, he's a very old man. Just like some months ago, they called me from there and told me all of them are now living inside the town. Why? Fulani came and rustled all their cows away.
I did not Fulani too.
That's one of the story. That's part of the story we had to hear about.
So they came, they rustled their cows away. Before that time, I was there on the political visit because I'm a little bit political
exposure.
Okay. So I was there and they were reporting to the chairman what happened just by the border of their own community. What happened there? They kidnapped a Fulani woman that just delivered like a week before that time. They kidnapped all the Benue farmers, all those guys that does shaku.
Yes.
So what this thing has gone beyond hands. You understand? What we can say is local government chairman visiting the place, taking picture like it's a museum. This is not funny. This is not politics. This is not a play. We are losing our brothers sisters by the day, and you are going there to okay. Let's come back to it. As the council chairman, the CSO of your local government that has huge sum of money that has been placed or given to you every month to take over the security whatever of your local government, and all we can see is pictures or telling us about motorcycle. I think it's high time we sit, all of us sit together and look inwards. It is not about Waro alone. It is not about Oyo alone.
Sure.
This is now a general problem. I can no longer travel home. Before I go home every weekend.
It used to be fun to
You
travel.
understand? You
I,
go.
I was talking to with somebody. Let me remind you something. Do you know what they call Ilya?
Of course.
What is Ilya?
An average,
it's fine, let's go.
an average Nigerian.
Yeah, particular
Yeah.
festive period in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Ilya.
Ilya, yes.
And that is the time you get to
The last Salah we had is an example. Yeah.
Families, your grandparents, and
You are
everything.
saying Ilya because you are living peacefully. You are enjoying it peace. That's
Now,
what you remember.
no, you said traveling used to be fun. So
Yes.
I remembered. I live in this axis where when people are traveling for Salah or Christmas, there's this huge traffic. Everybody did their celebration at their own days now. You that are staying at Kaduna, stay at Kaduna there, celebrate your Salah. So traveling is no more fun now. And sorry to cut you short.
So I think maybe let's do it like this. It's beyond plea. These people came, they rustled their car, they gave them location, they know the exact location they are. They know the exact location. Imagine someone came to your house, took your television, and went to sit down opposite your house.
I think that is actually an angle. You see, one angle which I think we Nigerians, or let me say, we other Nigerians who are not Fulanese, don't actually have not really experienced is what you've just revealed to us right now. You see, when we talk about banditry, it's very easy to make it a Fulani thing because which is rightfully so, to be honest with you, because majority of the boys perpetrating all of these ills are majorly Fulani boys. You get me? But now, majority of them, these Fulani boys in question, the questions, what most of us have failed to ask ourselves is that, are these boys truly Nigerians? Majority of these boys are not Nigerians. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because before now, an average Fulani man has been the victim of these same boys.
Okay.
They rustle their cows. You understand what I'm saying? They rustle their cows. But the problem we had, where the chaff and the wheat got mixed together, was the point where the socio-cultural body, which is an umbrella body that represents the Fulani interest in Nigeria, you understand what I'm saying, started advocating. I'm sorry to use the word blindly because I call it a blind advocacy because they also fail to separate the wheat from the chaff. The fact that Fulani does not make you a Nigerian. We have Nigerians who are Fulani. Those Nigerians who are Fulani are the ones who are still living with us today peacefully. But majority of these boys are from other countries. Even we've learned that they are from as far as Senegal, Mali, Central African Republic, coming down to Nigeria. So now when those of us who are not Fulani start talking about these bandits most times, or should I say that's the reason why someone like me does not support the blanket criminalization of an average Fulani man as a bandit. This is the reason why I don't, because I've taken my time to understand what, you understand what I'm saying, the difference. They are moderate Fulani men. They are Fulani men who go about their businesses without, committing any atrocities. But these criminal elements are the ones causing trouble for them. And it's so unfortunate that the Nigerian nation, at a point, the Nigerian state also has allowed this dent on the Nigerian moderate Fulani to persist by not acting as at when due. You understand what I'm saying? So from here, we can only hope that things get better from here.
I think people also contributed as in a very big way to this problem we are discussing.
How do you mean?
okay, if the soldier, the police, or any security agencies attack or apprehend kidnappers or
Yes.
bandits or whatsoever, you discover that our brothers
Part
are
of
there. If they arrest in Delta people will be there. If they arrest,
Giving information and
not just information, they will be there. They will be with them. As in, like, not just informant is someone that gives you information.
information,
Probably over
but
the
people
phone.
who act, they
These
act in
guys,
consonance
they
with
need
this with
them
these
there.
non
Okay,
state
but
actors.
if you've ever met anybody that they've been probably kidnapped, or you would discuss, just ask them a few questions. They will tell you that why they were there. So people came most
To
times
sell.
at night. Yes, they will come. They will do one or two. They even transact with them before. If they kidnap people and they don't need them, probably they can kill the person and go. Now they sell.
The
They
parts
sell parts.
to people.
So who?
So, Data X is the brand I'm bringing to you right now, and it's the brand that you can buy and perform any online transaction when it comes to data, utility bills. You can pay for your electricity on the platform, download the app on the Google Store or the App Store. Their number is on the screen. You can reach out to them also. Thank you.
The fact of cannabis man also needs to be considered in Nigeria. That possibility, the very few bad elements amongst them who work, in connivance with this criminal element also must be spoken about. It must be spoken about. So, for me, I think it's why someone like me would use that as a platform to call on the authorities. You understand what I'm saying? To do the needful in the sense, that means I'm talking about putting an end to the state of insecurity. Because so long as it persists, I doubt it will be very difficult to totally extricate an average moderate Fulani man in Nigeria from the excesses of this bandit. So I think we've spoken so much about the incidences that have happened. I think we should try and come up with suggestions. Suggestions that the government.
I wanted to take you back to something you said the other side, and that's talking about believing that most of these people are from maybe the other countries, Senegal, Chad, or if they are actually from that part of the world, how do they get in here? We have the Nigerian Immigration Service. They are armed. And what is their duty? To be at the border. They are border security. The Nigerian Customs Service too. Is it that our borders are loosed? Because if we have to say these people keep coming in, where do they get the entrance? Where do they get their entry from? So what could be what do you think is happening? Because now everybody thinks the army should just go inside the bush and get this done.
That's what every Nigerian keeps saying.
But I think
it's really more than that. With my own little knowledge, it goes beyond what the military can actually do.
Yeah, of course.
That is one. And I think you made the first point you made. That's what I'm trying to collect now. To pick up the results, the first point you made before you made. Okay, yeah, I think you were talking about
the border.
Thank you so
Talking
much.
about the duties of the immigration, the duties
Yeah,
of the
so-
immigration
so,
service and the
you see,
customs service.
the immigration, or let me say, Nigeria as a nation, or the government has no come to terms with the fact that we're a country at war. When the country is at war, what the country does is to mobilize every possible forces or force
Exactly.
to prosecute the war. Now, as we speak currently, you mentioned Nigerian immigration.
A lot of
I
people
think you've not really done justice to it the way I wanted you to. Let me point out to you. Let's start with the Nigerian police.
Okay.
The Nigerian police lost its bearing in the year 2021, and it became very obvious in 2022.
What
You see,
happened?
That's what I'm about to say. You see, from that point, the Nigerian police, just like every other aspect of our life, left, should I say, became a victim of the Yahoo syndrome. Yes, the Nigerian police left its core mandate and started chasing after Yahoo boys, because when they arrest a Yahoo boy, they can collect 250,000 from him. Now, go to virtually all of the police stations we have in this country. Go there, you see what the evidence is there. They are using exotic cars. Yes, policemen can use them. I'm not saying they are sure they can use exotic cars. But I doubt if you are to take 10, you would find 5 whose source of that particular purchase, I'm talking about the car question, is not from, extorting some of these boys.
Okay.
So the Nigerian police left its mandate, started chasing some of the things. Other security agencies in Nigeria, the Nigerian immigration, Nigerian custom, majority of them have left their mandates, chasing after money.
Sorry to cut you short. These agencies you are saying as agencies that are they are very just when they sent them, and this is why I said the custom, the immigration, the Nigerian police has amounts, a certain amount they pay, they remains to federal government. If you don't know, where do you expect them to get that money from?
You see, this is it. The Nigerian custom is the only one amongst all of them that has that constitutional, what's it called, power to generate revenue. The Nigerian custom service, you understand what I'm saying? Because they mediate, let's say, more like the trade between Nigeria and other countries. You understand? Now, the Nigerian immigration, in terms of them generating money, I think it's only boils down to what I can call maybe procedural law. In the course of them having to process loans
visa
and all of that. I said, sorry, I'm sorry.
I believe you don't
know why I said no. I believe everyone should know the reason why I said
I understand. So, it's allowed.
Yeah,
Process the Nigerian passport.
Yes, passport. And the likes, you understand? Yeah. So from there they make money, they remit this money. But no law, be it administrative in nature, constitutionally recognized, or even a guideline of the Nigerian police that stipulates that the Nigerian police must generate any revenue. What we have for the government, is the government is not collecting a dime from the Nigerian police, but the people we've learned.
Maybe we should say
it's been alleged.
Police is
it's been alleged
themselves.
It's been alleged. They've used that as an excuse to, advance their own narrative most times. But the thing is, they are not constitutionally empowered to generate revenue. They are not. Now, to lead us so that we don't derail.
Okay.
Now, all of these law enforcement agencies have abandoned their core remits and they now start chasing after money. Let's assume we actually see ourselves as a nation at war. We would have created an integrated system, a policing mechanism that integrates all of the law enforcement agencies that we have in this country.
Yes, the NDLEA, NDA.
See, all of these LAs and what we are talking about are remnants of the Nigerian police. Elsewhere, you will never find all of those. But in Nigeria, we've balkanized multiplicity of duplication of responsibility across board. All of these things are stupid police issues. This is the time to harmonize them. Bring them under one single Nigerian police, you understand what I'm saying, umbrella. Collapse the custom into a department of the Nigerian police. Let that department take care of the border.
Yes.
Collapse immigration. Let them take care of, you hear of IC in America.
Yes.
They are with FBI. You understand what I'm saying? So we can have an integrated system like that. That is in terms of addressing the manpower shortage that we have.
But I think
then,
what would you say about the forest guard or something?
It's still part of the whole.
And Sunday is still there.
It's still part of the whole. It's still part of the whole security architecture.
Okay.
But with that, after using that to strengthening the institutional capacity of Nigerian police to deliver its mandate, or let me say the manpower capacity, then we look at other areas. Because that alone will not solve it. It's not about manpower alone. We need technology. Then we need we need the political will. Then when we say the political will, we are talking about an idealistic. You can have the will if you don't have the idea of the will, the idea of the vision that will help you to prosecute the will. You might be losing that, and that is where the current government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that's where he falls short.
Okay.
Yes, he has not. For me, I'm a very big fan. I must say this, but he has let me down in the aspect of security for failing to bring about an innovative mechanism to address this issue.
Well, I've never been a fan.
Yeah, he said, I have to say it for a fact.
Yeah.
Now, you see, if you read his manifesto, I can't accurately remember the chapter. There was a time I was very attuned with the whole, what's it called? With the whole manifesto. But I think maybe 16 or thereabout. But let me just say, I can't remember, but it's in there. The name of the force is called ABAT Force. ABATT. It's more like a counter-terrorism unit that will be created to combat terrorism. That is innovative. Create a unit, they are well funded, removed from the typical Nigerian police underfunded structure to a more funded structure. Use them to combat the excesses of this. Then recruitment is not the problem. But that idea, if he could follow that idea which he has in his manifesto, I think that would be a little bit idealistic in a way than the approach of his predecessor that he has continued in terms of insecurity. In other areas, I can give it to him, but in this security area, it's a no-no. He has not demonstrated the idea. He's an idealist. I know him quite well to be an idealist. He has not demonstrated that idea up to that point. So for me, that's a letdown. So we need someone who will come with a new idea. We are tired of recruiting, deploying. No, deploying and recruitment will not solve this problem. We are talking about someone who would make use of those deployments, who will ensure that the deployments that are made, are efficiently utilized to bring about the desired change. That is what we are looking for. That is what we are looking for. So that idea. No, I won't say everybody because I've listened to all of the alternatives. The alternative Nigerians are projecting. I've not seen anybody with that idea. Nobody has. Everybody has been talking about the same thing: deployment, purchasing. That's not it. We're talking about how to make use of the efficient utilization of this deployment that we're talking about. So if you have, do you know this current the insecurity? Let me say, if you have a pool of the Nigerian, or let's say Nigerian police, Nigerian military, to form a force to combat this terrorism, do you know we can actually, curb this terrorism to a minimal extent? I learned that in 2014, President Goodluck Jonathan hired the foreign mercenaries who came to fight in Nigeria, I think from South Africa, I learned. Now, they said they were less than 100. And these people were able to perform what the Nigerian military failed to do in years, in less than 4 months. Now, even though we saw how the international dimension that intervention brought into the whole insecurity issue, because that also created a problem eventually. Because let me tell you something, that is the negative side of using mercenaries. That's the negative side. You understand me? You've exposed them to the issue. So now they know where the loopholes are and they can exploit it to your disadvantage. So I believe that has also created some problem. But at least we could borrow from that, create a unit that we can pull from the Nigerian police. In this instance, we are in a wartime. We don't need a distinction between immigration. Pull from them. Everybody, maybe like 1,000. Create a force. Understand what I'm saying? So this force will be armed with technological tools, everything we need to prosecute this war against terrorism. They will be on hand to be deployed in minutes. Let's say an incident happened now. They don't have any business in any station. Follow these terrorists everywhere, wherever they go.
Well,
Deploy them.
Still can achieve this thing because they get tracked.
Yeah, you see, even what let's forget even saboteur. Please let's look at the fact what happened in Oyo. What's happening? It's not as easy. See, let me. I say this. I'm sorry. It seems I'm taking too much of your time, but let me come around and say this. You see, it's not as easy as we think. Trail them on TikTok. Yes, you already know where they are. If you go there and you meet your citizen, will you wipe them out? Remember a governor in this country, I think it was Nasir El-Rufai, that was in 2020 or 2019, when he said the bush in somewhere in Kaduna State should be carpet bombed. And there'll be collateral damage. People, you know the furor that generated. Yeah. You, if you have your ward in the bush, will you ask the government to go and bomb them all? Nobody. See, that is the complexity, of the security issue of this country. This criminal element live amongst people, your population. How many times have you heard of the Nigerian military bombing, killing? They will write it, the Nigerian military kills civilians. Let me tell you something. In most cases, some of these people are not civilians. They mingle. There are some civilians who trade with them. So when stuff like this happen, the media will rally against the government. So imagine the government. See, the government has the capacity to go to Oyo State and flush out these guys, but the collateral damage. What will be the collateral damage? When we say the collateral damage, are the parents ready to pay the ultimate sacrifice for the good of Nigeria? Will you advise your sister to do that? Will you do that if you have a child there? Nobody will. So it is very complex. These boys, after doing TikTok, where they are doing TikTok, do you know who is there with them? The Nigerian military know where they are. They can attack them. But when you attack, now, there's one thing they call Pyrrhic victory. What will be your benefit if at the end of the day you end up turning your gun against the same citizen you are meant to protect? See, that's one thing a lot of us Nigerians don't understand. And that's when I hear people talking about the government is this. Yes, you can blame the government. It has its own fault. But the fact is, it's not as easy. There's no toggle somewhere that you can just switch off to end this insecurity. Never. If anybody is telling you that I will end this security in one, the person does not know. I'm one of those people who will tell you that the person does not know the insecurity that we are facing in Nigeria. It has a political ramification. It has an economic ramification which benefits even the indigenes. Yes. It has, the social cultural ramification, which some people believe this is advancing their own interest. Okay. It has a regional ramification. So all of these things put together, if you don't understand it, and you are saying you want to come and end banditry, you want to come and end terrorism, you are deceiving yourself. So it's not just about talking. We are talking about what will be effective in this, and that is what we are proposing to the government here. We need innovative ideas. I've mentioned one. It is innovative enough for the fact that it has never been used in Nigeria. Yes. It is innovative enough. So there are other ways. People have been talking about drones for years. You understand me? Even there are Nigerians who are manufacturing drones. Why can't the Nigerian military collaborate with them? Proforce in Abeokuta has the capacity to do some of these things. Why are we not in collaboration with them? Is it due to one or two institutional impediments? So we have to look inwards. And if don't let me say the government, if Nigerians are really ready to end this, we can't leave it to the government to end. Let me be honest. I know I'll get a backlash from this, but it's a fact. The government alone cannot end this. The government needs the people to put an end to this. But now, it starts with the government. The government has to empower the people to end it. First of all, the government must control the narrative. As we speak, the bandits are controlling the narrative. Because currently, we have more bandit sympathizers in Nigeria than... Don't you see how Nigerians celebrate an attack? Let me tell you something. Majority of the campaign that you see after all those kidnaps, majority of them are not driven by altruism. The majority are not. It's not because of the love of the children, no. For the fact that they know that this will put a plague or a dent on the image of the government of the day. The same. I'm not making a case for this government because they also did the same under Jonathan. So you understand what I'm saying? But I'm not that sort of person who uses one evil to justify another. So I won't go into that. But that's just a fact. You get me? So all of this false alarm shouting is not as though maybe, they really want it to end.
If the government receipts on this insecurity issue, and they
Okay.
change the way they penalize, they punish these people.
That means you don't believe in
I don't
the
go
way they
there.
rehabilitate back into
Rehabilitation.
society.
I don't go there. Don't go there. We know what that has cost us.
But at the same time, I
Leaking
think
of
please remind me
information
because I also need to come down that
You
too.
don't believe in
Leaking
that.
of information and intelligence is shared over time. Those are the major issues we had. So don't let us go there.
Okay.
I just feel if the government can sit on that, I think things will get better. Number one. Number two, this since all these weapons, all these tools they are using, they are not the ones. We are Nigerian government and all Nigerian companies, Nigerian industries are not the ones doing them. So it means they must have passed through our borders. And there are people who are bestowed with the responsibility of ensuring that this thing does not come in. You understand? So it means they have failed. I'm not challenging anybody here. It means they have failed. So if government can receipt by working, closely with neighboring countries, to strengthen our borders, I think that would be sorted. Lastly, it is my belief that this thing cannot be totally eradicated.
In a very short period of time or ever.
The countries like Afghanistan, Colombia, Mexico, and all, they have been battling this for a very long time and they are realistic about it. It still took them 10 to 20 years. Talk less Nigerian that I don't know, you get. So if we are really serious about eradicating this insecurity banditry, I think it goes beyond just talk, it's real action. Thank you, my brother.
Well, after all said and done, I guess we can only just hope for the very best.
For the best, but I don't know if I'm permitted to come
you're
in
permitted
and say
to.
something concerning the erroneous belief about this issue of reintegration.
Okay.
I think we hold on to a very minor narrative to rubbish the whole idea. I must say this. The rehabilitation of repentant bandit and the likes. Yes. The policy has been largely effective. But to an average Nigerian, it has not. Because it is believed that the few elements who still find their way back into the fold of these bad guys are responsible for the continued upsurge in the attacks that communities face. Now, why that is a fact to be established, there's another angle which Nigerians are not looking at. See, in our counterterrorism fight, what is the role being played by these bandits? Nigerians don't know. By these repentant bandits, I can tell you this, even the so-called those in the know virtually have any detail about that. They are actively participating in the fight against, you don't know, against, I'm talking about in Nigeria's counterinsurgency operation. They are part of it. You understand me? It has not been totally successful, and it is not a policy to be rubbished. If we weigh it up, the good and the bad, which one, if you weigh it up, and if you want to say which one is better, continuation is better than discontinuation. Because you see, the policy provides what we call a carrot approach to ending banditry. You don't end banditry or this terrorism with guns and bullets. No country has ever done that successfully, not even America. They failed in Afghanistan. They failed. Americans spent 20 years, over $20 trillion. Oh, I'm sorry, I think about $20 billion, if I'm not mistaken, within the space of 20 years, 21. Who is in government today? The past, what do they call them? Terrorists. Those whom Americans spent sweat, money to combat, they are back in government. So, counterterrorism is not just, or let me say, fighting terrorism is not just something you can end by only purchase of ammunition does is to whittle down the influence of these non-state actors to a point whereby they will be the ones to be begging for amnesty. That is what countries do. But that you will use gun to end it, you are lying to yourself. So one of the ways to end it is using this reintegration mechanism. Now, you can fault the timing of the implementation. You can fault it, which me myself I find an issue because I believe in it rather because I believe
the insurgency is still in progress. You understand what I'm saying? These people we've not established our competency or our dominance over them to a point where they feel subdued to be compelled to come to the table to discuss for amnesty. What we've just been doing is exactly what US is doing to Iran. Someone you are actively in combat with, where both of you, the war can still go either ways. You are saying you want them to come to the table. That is exactly what it is. It's just more like putting the cat what's it called, before the horse. The horse will find it difficult to move. So that is where the problem is, and that is where I have an issue with. But if you have to look at the entire idea surrounding it, and hope you know that it is actually an idea that is globally shared. Yes, it is globally shared. America, do it. Every country does it. They reintegrate past militants or ex-militant, but the process, the timing is what I find very curious here. You understand me? So we must not join it's a popular narrative. We must not join the popular narrative to also condemn totally using, what do they call them? Isolated cases. You know what I'm saying? As a justification. We must not do that. Let's look at the whole gamut of the implementation of the policy, pick the cons against the pros. You realize that the pros are much more than the cons, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, I'll reiterate again, no country has ended any insurgency using gun. So you will have to win the heart and mind. And one of the ways to win the heart and minds of bandits or criminals or terrorists is by giving them that sense of belonging. That, okay, even though you've erred against the community, there's still an olive branch for you to hold. I think I'll leave it there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sukambi. It's such a pleasure to have you here. We cannot say it all. We can only hope for the very best and pray that this whole situation comes to an end. I think we can't actually just wish for a miracle or hope for a miracle. This is far beyond what we can actually just say within a very short period of time. It's on to the next. We'll be glad to have you here again to talk about this insecurity and the possible solution. Mr. Tunde and Jerry,
it's very nice to have you on set.
Thank you for having me.
I'll let my partner do the rest.
Yeah, and all right, guys. If you are looking to trade your cryptocurrency, sell your gift cards, you can trade with ZippoNG.ng. That's their WhatsApp number on the screen.